Hey everyone, this is Carla R. Jenkins, and welcome to an all new episode of Projectized, the Project Management Show, where I am discussing today why some people hate Scrum. So, as you know, with this show, I always want to provide realistic content regarding project management. And this article came across, it's July the 13th. As of this recording, it's Wednesday, July 15th, from D Zone, like the Agile Zone. And you have a developer who doesn't think that Scrum is as agile as everyone thinks. And so he's going to use uh, the Scrum guide, which is the guide that people use for a certified Scrum Master. I also am a certified Scrum Master. And I wanted to bring this to your attention because Scrum is the most popular version of Agile project management. And I'm going to put the article in the chat so that everyone could read it and reference it. But the reason why he has a rant on Scrum is because, in his opinion, Scrum is not agile and in practice it's not very flexible. And he furthermore says the Scrum is not agile because its emphasis on time blocks for planning is typically 2 weeks. Okay. The time box iteration for Scrum can be up to 1 month. So I do have to put that out there, but typically it is 2 weeks. The person furthermore says that it's not flexible in practice because there's strong adherence to the cause, who insists following whatever they believe is Scrum to the letter, and they believe like the hardcore people have taken over. He also gives out a definition of what Scrum is per the Scrum guide. So, and the Scrum is lightweight, simple to understand, difficult to master. I am also going to put in the Scrum guide for reference from scrum.org so that people can have a better understanding of what I'm referencing, because this is the guide for the certified Scrum Master, just like you have the project management body of knowledge, which serves as a guide for the project management professional. So returning back to that, some of the reasons why he has a problem with Scrum is that uh, uh, he's talking about sprints, which is 2 months, 2 weeks iteration, time box iteration. He said, in an industry where burnout from working extra hours is a problem, that is just what we want, a metaphor so management can tell everyone they just need to sprint faster. And then let's put in a 2 week time box to regularly amp up pressure to produce more. Looks to me like a great management technique to maximize free overtime from staff. It's amazing we don't have a programmers union to clean this stuff up. I myself believe in 40-hour weeks, and anything over that should be a rare emergency. His next issue is with done, the concept of done. Done doesn't mean 100% in Scrum. And he also talks about the lack of a common definition of done. And he said the problem is that for many tasks that need to be accomplished, done depends on the task, not to mention of the other task. Done is when the item is acceptable to the customer. Done combined with the 2 week time box in a particular nasty way. A done increment is required at the sprint review. So, and he gives an example. So the conversion goes something like this. It takes 9 months to make a baby. You have to break the process into 2 week increments so we can show how done at each 2 week sprint review. Or more typically, his example is it would take 3 months to draft that document because we need to add the designs as they are prepared. Then you have to divide the entire document into 2 week increments to show that we have always had an always done document which is ready to deliver, but it's not deliverable until the end, so why pretend? The author also believes, I entirely agree with every task should have a definition of done, but the definition should be task related, and it's entirely possible that determining what done actually looks like might be the first task that needs to be done. Figuring out done is also difficult because the client may not have a good idea of what done looks like. The next thing he has an issue with is the time box, as he talked about it being typically 2 weeks. But as I mentioned, per the Scrum guide, it can be up to 1 month. So I do have to put that out there because I want people to have, a better understanding of the full concept of what the from the Scrum Guide is when he's talking about what Scrum is. So the next thing he has an issue with is the Scrum Masters. And he said that he acknowledges the Black Lives Matter protest and how the master and the Scrum Master is often racist terms. The Scrum Master, per the definition of the Scrum Guide, is a servant leader of the team. Okay, master server, take your racist or kinky sex metaphor. What the Scrum Master really is the project manager stripped of any ability to manage the project. And the author wants no part of that. He wants the power to be able to decide things. And then formal events. He defines the four Scrum formal events: sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. He also doesn't like daily Scrum. He likes the word daily stand up. And then the next thing he has an issue with is the concept of team, but he doesn't see it as a team because of the fact that it's isolated. And so what happens is you have self-organizing teams, but the problem is that he also does not believe in the concept of team because he believes in individual effort and that individuals should get credit instead of team. So he's more idealistic. Furthermore, he also talks about how Scrum is not team player. He mentions scaled Agile, which is Agile and at a tier level. And then he also talks about working software and how the most projects that he worked on didn't correspond and conform to working software. And then finally, he has hack and hope and user stories. He often talks about what to do instead of Scrum. So he does offer to do rapid application design. And he's talking about how to do another form of thing that comes out of technology. Well, Scrum came out of information technology sector as well as Agile project management. So he's opining that replace Scrum with rapid application design, and that would be a better way of applying Agile project management to projects in the IT sector. So that's his opinion on why he doesn't believe that Scrum is Agile. And as I put the article, I'll put the article in there again from bzone.com. I think it's a very interesting perspective because you want to be able to have the pulse and what's realistic and what's really happening. And as I mentioned, about last year, in the fall, there were other articles that were talking about Scrum, is Scrum dead, and what's going on with that, because Scrum is the most popular Agile project methodology. When people are talking about daily stand-up, that they're doing Scrum, they're meeting for 15 minutes, that's the daily Scrum. And that comes from that. But I also want to put out something that's very realistic, especially in this time where people are looking for project managers in general, but Agile project managers in particular, and how certain people still have problems with Scrum and applying it. So this concludes this episode of Projectized. My name is Carla R. Jenkins, certified Scrum Master, project management professional, cloud, as well as IDLE 3 and 4. And if you need help with project management or PMP or IDLE 4, get in touch with me at carlarjenkins.com/contact. As always, I shout out all my live viewers. And so I view Mondays through Fridays, 5:30 p.m., Periscope, Instagram Live, YouTube Live. And so I would like to shout out on Instagram Live, Big Daddy Dre Mac for watching me live, as well as Jay, which is J ampersand J on Periscope for watching me live.